Hello everyone and welcome to reading. For today you will need your MyView Literacy Book 1.3. Go ahead and open your book to page 66 and 67. Folktales. A folktale is a type of traditional story. It is an old story that has been told over and over. It often has a tricky character. The tricky wolf. Long ago, a girl goes to visit her grandma. On the way, she meets a wolf. The wolf wants to catch the girl, so he pretends to be her grandma. But the girl runs away. Talk about the characters in the folktale. What characters did you notice? There's Grandma, there's a girl, and there's a wolf. This story sounds familiar. Sounds like Little Red Riding Hood. Folktale Anchor Chart. It's a short story. This one's very short, but even the regular story of Little Red Riding Hood's pretty short too. It has a simple problem. The problem is that the girl needs to take something to Grandma and the wolf wants to get it. It's known by many people. Most people know the story of Little Red Riding Hood. It can have a tricky character. The tricky character in this story is the wolf, because he's going to try and trick Little Red Riding Hood. And it has a moral or a lesson that readers can relate to. Listen to this story about the antelope and the cheetah. Antelope was at a drinking pool with the rest of her herd. Antelope stood in the warm sunlight with her eyes closed. The rest of the herd began to quickly slip away. They smelled cheetah in the air. But Antelope had a cold. She could not smell anything. Suddenly, Antelope heard purring. "You're all alone, Antelope," said Cheetah. "That means you're my dinner." Antelope looked around. She was alone and afraid. "I did not see you before," she said. "But you are wrong. I am not alone. My friends and I are playing hide and seek. They are here. You just can't see them. Look," Antelope said, and pointed to the drinking pool with her nose. Cheetah looked down and saw some of Antelope's friends. He did not know what he was seeing were reflections of Antelope in the ripples of the water. "Go get them," Antelope said. Cheetah jumped in the water. Antelope ran away. So, was this story a folktale? It was short. It had a simple problem, that the cheetah was going to try to eat the antelope. This story is not known by many people. But it did have a tricky character. Who was our tricky character? Right, the cheetah. Did it have a moral or lesson? Right, if you're really smart, you can outsmart the problem. Turn in your book to page 54 and 55. What is a tricky character? Tricky characters often fool other characters. They are clever or smart. Tricky characters pretend to be honest, make others go the wrong way, do not follow rules, and get others to give them things. How do tricky characters use their imaginations? So let's look at this picture. We have a fox and a chicken. Look at this fox. He just turned the sign around, so now the chicken's going to go the wrong way. How did he use his imagination to fix the problem? Well, he thought about if he tried to trick the chicken so it would go this way, maybe he has something over there he wants the chicken to go to. What about in our Little Red Riding Hood story? How did the wolf use his imagination? Well, he was pretending to be Grandma so he could trick Little Red Riding Hood. So he had to use his imagination to pretend to be Grandma so it would trick her. Now it's your turn. Draw your own tricky animal character. Then write how you made it and what your tricky character would do. So my tricky character is going to be my dog. You can make your own tricky character. It could be a real animal and you pretend that it's tricky, or it could be an animal you make up. So how is my tricky character tricky? Well, she pretends she needs to go outside so she can play. She pretends to be hungry even though we've just fed her so that way she can get treats. She pretends that she didn't rip up the paper when we know it was her. So my tricky character in a story could trick someone else by pretending that she was hungry to steal their food. Just like the wolf did in Little Red Riding Hood. He pretended to be Grandma to get the food, but my character could pretend that she's hungry to get it. Now it's your turn. Fill out this page. You can do it either in your book on page 55 and take a picture and turn it in, or you can fill it out on Seesaw and turn it in. Don't forget, you need a picture and you need to write what your tricky character can do. How is it tricky? I'll see you next time.